So this is the Ledger Nano S. As you can see, it's in its original packaging. So we are just going to remove the packaging from this. Once we get the packaging off, we're going to open up the box. And you'll see inside is your Ledger Nano S. So you just go ahead and grab that, take that out. You'll see it's on a little sort of rotating protection case that protects the buttons and the screen, and also the micro USB port on the end of it. You see the two buttons here, left and right. You also use those for navigation to get around through the screen. Inside the box a bit further, once you start to remove all the packaging, you'll find a few little extra bits in there. One of the first things is this sort of little welcome pack that's got all the goodies in it. This contains some pretty important information, which we'll get to in a minute. You've got a USB cable, which is normal USB and micro USB, a little sort of lanyard thing and a key ring so that you can take it, I guess, wherever you want to take it, and another little lanyardy kind of thing. They're a bit useless, so we're just going to put those aside and get into the more important stuff. So this little welcome booklet is probably the most important little thing that you'll find in your Ledger Nano S. So take that, open it up, and you'll see a few little things inside. So obviously a little warning notice about, did you notice that there's no anti-tampering sticker on this box? It's because they don't need it anymore. They use mechanisms within the device itself to ensure that it is secure every time it's turned on. There's also a little getting started guide, which is basically just a website. So that's the website that you'll need to go to install and configure everything and get started with it. And we'll get back to that in a minute and show you the actual site and how to configure and install your device. The recovery sheet, this is very important because this is where you write down your 24-phrase secret seed. Without this, you cannot recover the device. It's very important that you read this and that you write down the key 24 words. Again, we'll go through this in a minute with you, but don't lose that sheet. They give you a couple of copies, 3 copies in total, so that you can write it down multiple times if you want. You'll see they're all the same, but it's really important to understand that this is your recovery phase and you really need this. So you can get rid of, I guess, the rest of the packaging. Make sure you've got your recovery documents, the get started documents, all the things that you need. You're obviously going to have your USB cable here. It's reasonably long, comes with a little bit of extra plastic and packaging and that sort of nonsense around it. I always like to make sure I rip that sort of stuff off, even if it just makes it look a little better. There's a bit of plastic on both ends, you'll see. I am not very good at getting this stuff off sometimes, so I'm just going to leave it on the micro USB port. But then what you can do, it doesn't get in the way. You connect the micro USB into the actual Ledger Nano S device itself, and then you're pretty much ready to go and connect it up to the computer with the USB end, and then start to really get things going and configure and install the device, which we'll now crack onto. So as I said, you need to go to that website, start.ledgerwallet.com on the computer. So you punch that in, go to the site, and you'll see it comes up with Ledger Live. You need to download and install Ledger Live in order to configure and install the different crypto asset apps on the Ledger Nano S. So once you've gone to the site, make sure you're at the right one, it's secure, and then click on download now. So I'm running a Mac that you'll probably see, albeit running Google Chrome, but I'm running a Mac, so it downloads the DMG file for me. Pretty much the same thing if you're on a Windows computer. You just install Ledger Live. Once that's installed, you'll come to this screen. Once you've gone through the setup of Ledger Live and given your passwords and everything that's needed for that, it's this screen that is what you'll need to then go through the process of configuring your device. So install Ledger Live. Once you've done that and gone through the setup, plug in your Ledger device itself. Once that's plugged in, you'll see you get to a welcome screen on the Ledger device. In order to get the configuration going, you need to push both buttons on the device together. Once you push those buttons, you'll get, I guess, a little welcome bit of information about how the device works, about using the left and right buttons to navigate through the screens and through the menus. Again, it's very self-explanatory. Just take the time to read through all the things that it says. Once then you get to the end of that and want to configure, you push both buttons and then it'll ask you to configure as a new device and then choose a PIN code. So this is really important. You push both buttons again to commence that and then choose a PIN code that you are not going to forget because you need that to get into the device. So once you've got your PIN code done, you then need to confirm your PIN code. So do it again and put it in. Once you've confirmed that, you then also need to write down the recovery phase, and this is the important part. So it goes through all 24 words. It will give them to you in order. The first word on mine is safe, so I write that down and then go through every other word that the device shows me in order. It's key you do that because the next step is then to confirm. After you've gone through and written down all the words, you need to confirm those 24 words. So once you've written them down, the device will ask you for those words back in order, and you need to toggle through the options to find the right word. You go through all 24 words and confirm. It then thinks about it to make sure that you've done all the right things. If you've done it all correctly, your device is now ready to use and to install all the crypto asset apps that you need. So you push both buttons again, and then you need to go back to the Ledger Live application on your desktop, to then start installing the device. As you'll see here, there are currently no crypto asset wallets on my Ledger. So I go back to Ledger Live, I connect my device so it's connected and unlocked. So then I need to allow Ledger Manager on my device, which is just the button that's the big tick. This screen then automatically pops up, which will then list all the different kinds of crypto asset wallet apps that you will need or that you can choose from. You can't install them all, you can only install a few at a time. You can install and delete them. Once your assets are on the Ledger Nano, it doesn't matter if you uninstall an app. You can reinstall it and your assets will be fine. But in this case, you can do a whole bunch of different apps, but we're going to install the Bitcoin application just as an example of how to go about installing one of the crypto asset wallets. This is one that I would assume most people use. So you click on install, you'll see it starts installing Bitcoin on the desktop. Then if you actually look on your device as well, you'll see that it's processing that and installing the app on the device. Once that has completed, you'll see Bitcoin has successfully installed and the wallet is then on your actual device itself. So that's actually pretty straightforward. You repeat that process for any other crypto asset that you want to add. Then once you've done that, you close that window and you need to add an account. So you click on add account and choose, in this case, Bitcoin, and then continue to create the wallet. Again, you then refer back to your device. You need to then enter the Bitcoin app that you've just installed on it. So again, you use both buttons to enter the app. Once you've done that, you'll see that it confirms that you've navigated to the app on your device, and then you'll actually be able to then create some wallets. So once it all syncs up, you'll see that it will add a new Bitcoin wallet to the device, and then you can rename that Bitcoin wallet whatever you want. So just in this case, I'm going to call my Bitcoin wallet a Volco BTC. You can call it whatever you want. And then I add the account, and there you go. I've installed a Bitcoin wallet onto my Ledger Nano S. From there, within Ledger Live, you can see there's a send receive button, so I can start sending and receiving Bitcoin to that specific wallet. It will give me my Bitcoin wallet address. So that's all you need to know about setting up your Ledger Nano S. You can go to the Ledger site for further help and frequently asked questions, but it's very straightforward. Follow the instructions and you pretty well can't go wrong.